Hello everyone and welcome to a brand new episode of the Women of Arabia. Women of Arabia is a platform where we showcase the best women entrepreneurs and of course women from other walks of life who with their sheer determination, hard work and passion have carved a niche for themselves and also changed their dreams into reality. And today, in conversation with us, is the beautiful Muby Astruc.
Muby Astruc.
I've got that right. So it's a French name, right?
Well, the last name is French, and the first one is completely unique, and it belongs just to me. I think no one else.
Yes, Muby. That's true. It does. It's completely
it's just
you.
Mine. It's mine.
You. Yes.
Yeah.
And you are. She likes to call herself an artist and entrepreneur.
Yeah.
That's right. And she is the artist and entrepreneur and the face and name behind Shabby meets Chic. So what's Shabby meets Chic?
All right. Hi. So when Shabby meets Chic is basically there's many layers and levels to it. So it's a way to unleash an artist within yourself to find other aspects to your personality, to understand that there are layers to us as well, and to dig within and to come and find those layers to express who we are, to be creative, to be good to ourselves, to do ourselves a favor, to feel nice about us. And because we're doing that for us, we need to also remember to do the same with not only the internal but the external as well. So when Shabby Meets Chic is an online e-commerce store. It is the first one-stop shop of its kind in the UAE, where you get your A to Z of everything you would need for environmentally friendly furniture and home makeovers. From your paint and brushes to your moldings, your glues, your stencils, transfers, just everything you could need is part of the umbrella.
So basically all that we see right behind you.
This is a part of the collection.
Okay, so you've got paint, you've got, what are the, just run us through a list of things that you have.
Right, so I've got French Chic chalk and mineral paints, which is my biggest seller. I've got, the revolutionary Klingon brushes that artists across the world are going mad for. I've got a lot of moldings that are handmade for me, and I get them flown in from Ireland. But going back to where I said that if we're doing something good for ourselves by allowing our inner artist to come through, by expressing our creativity, thus it needs to be reflected externally as well. So for that reason, it's very important to me that we stay kind to the earth, we stay kind to all the creatures that inhabit the earth. So I think the most important thing for me when representing a brand, because all of the brands that I represent are exclusive to when Shabby Meets Chic, and they've never before been in this part of the world before. And I sourced every single one individually based on the fact that, number one, they've got to be cruelty free. I would not put my passion and my name behind anything that has harmed another living being. And I'm very passionate about animals, and I'm vegetarian turning vegan, so I've gone off my dairy and all of that as well. A month ago, my 4 and 5-year-old boys voluntarily decided to turn vegetarian because they've understood the importance of not participating in the cruelty that brands sometimes bring. So we'd walk into shops and they look for the little bunny logo everywhere, and they're like, "Oh, mommy, look, he's free, he's fine." So it's very important to stay cruelty free. This was number one on my priority list. Number two was environmentally friendly, and the reason we're redoing our furniture and we're making it over, we're transforming. I mean, this was just an old laminated piece from Home Center that was bought second hand for 50 dirhams because somebody was going to throw it away.
Okay.
And I said, oh, please don't throw it away. Let me actually give you something for it so you feel good as well. And, you know, the point of doing this is that why are we adding to landfill? Because so often we've got pieces of furniture, things in our home that we don't use anymore. They're outdated, you know, the trends have come and gone. They've been damaged over time. They've got like cracks in them, stuff is chipping off. You don't want it anymore in your house. It makes your home look ugly. And so sometimes people sell it off to someone else if it looks nice enough. And if it's not pretty enough to sell, it gets left out by the skip. And if you leave it out by the skip, you know that most of the time that's going to end up in landfill.
Yeah.
So that's a big thing for me.
True.
You know, to not add
more waste and pollute the environment.
Exactly. So the idea was formed based on the fact that I wanted to save furniture from going into the landfill. I mean, the way I see it, this tree has already paid its price. And here it is, you know? And then we're just going to throw it away and add to the environmental waste of this world. It doesn't make sense. Okay. So not only did I want to rescue furniture and, you know, give everything a second chance, including us. Well, this is what we do as artists. We're giving ourselves a second chance at something else. My whole business. I'll go into my past a little bit later. You'll understand the importance of second chances. So going back to giving furniture a second chance, being environmentally aware of what you're doing. So the products that I sell have to be environmentally friendly. I would not be able to sell something knowing that it's not recycled or it's got any fumes, it's got VOCs, which is a volatile odor compound. That's the stuff that's bad for us, you know. I couldn't sell something that's got odors, toxins, VOCs that's harmful to us, inhaling it as we work on it. Very harmful to our children and pets, obviously, which is harmful to
the environment
air pollution
as well.
and the environment. So everything had to be cruelty-free. Everything had to be environmentally friendly, certified most of the time as well. And then a large part of my market, the largest part of my clientele, is female. And a lot of my clients paint at home, whether it's before or after working hours, or they're stay-at-home moms, or they're empty nesters, or they're single girls looking for a new passion or a hobby. But it's women that are doing this, that are part of this beautiful movement today. And most of them do not want the old-fashioned way of going outdoors, especially in this country when we hit temperatures close to 50 degrees. You don't want to be working out in that kind of a sun. You don't want to be sanding furniture down, again, causing pollution and getting it into your lungs as well. So it needed to be an indoor paint that was nursery safe and pet safe. So therefore, the paint French Chic that I sell is certified as EN 71.3, which in layman's words actually just means that it is tested and it is completely safe for pregnant women. It is absolutely safe to even paint a newborn's toys with it, and if they bite down, there's really no problem with that. You can paint your dog's pets with it. It's a very safe product. So I had to then add to my list of cruelty-free and environmentally friendly and nursery safe. So those were the three big things that matters to me as a business.
What made you, what was that one aspect or that turning point in your life that made you decide, I want to start something like that?
So for over 2 decades, I'd probably say probably 25 years of my life, I had a very different life. I was a very different person. I used to be a journalist with one of the biggest newspapers here in Dubai. I actually started my career as a journalist when I was 11 years old. I was the youngest person and definitely in the region, if not extended beyond that, to be officially approved by the editor-in-chief of the newspaper to hold down my own pages and columns and to contribute on a weekly basis.
Okay.
So at the time when I was 11, I was writing for both the big newspapers here at the time.
Okay.
And then sort of streamlined.
What did you start writing with?
I was writing nearly as a teenager, right?
Yeah.
So at the very, very start, when I was 11 years old, I was interviewing other kids about school-related issues, about friendship issues. I was in charge of the entertainment section for one of the both the newspapers actually. I was doing it.
Writing always been a passion, right? What made
so
you write?
I used to think that's all I could ever do.
Right.
I never even knew that I had it in me
artistic.
to be anything besides a writer.
Were you not artistic? Do you, like kids, you draw, we paint. Did you do any of those?
So I've always identified myself as a creative, right? My tool was the pen. That was the only tool I ever used. I honestly never, ever used anything besides a pen.
No paintbrush instead of a paint. Oh my goodness, okay.
I never did. I didn't know that I had it in me. I was always so afraid that, if I wasn't a writer, if I wasn't a journalist, what would I do? Where would I be?
Okay.
Would I ever find anything else that matters to me? Would I ever be passionate about something? Would anyone even ever hire me? Because I didn't think I could be anything beyond what I was, and that is such a misconception most of us have.
Yes, most of us.
But we think that we are limited to the person we are right now. But we don't realize that a lot of the time we're like onions. If you peel, you discover so much within, right?
And there's still lots to go on.
So I had those limiting beliefs at the time that I am only this and I can't be anything else. And then I was 35 years old. Was I 35? Yeah, I was still 35 years old, nearly 36, but 35. And I was just like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? You've been doing this since you were 11 years old. And I'd done it all. I'd gone from being like a reporter to a sub-editor to a deputy editor. I'd gone from, entertainment to property to lifestyle to investigative and crime. And I'd done it all.
Yes.
And I had completely stagnated. There was nothing else I could do except become an editor. But I could never become an editor because you have, big organizations have all these personality tests, and you're supposed to be a shape and fit into a box. And after every psychological test that was ever done on me, I couldn't mold into a box. I couldn't fit into a box because I float. And it wasn't in me to just have blinders on and to work in a certain way. And I was 35 years old, and I just go, it's now or never. I'm going to be 40 in 5 years, and then I'll be 50, and I'm going to retire doing what I've done when I was 11. And do I really want a life? But I've never had any adventure. I've never taken the risk, because in my personal life, I'd taken a lot of risks, and it was, my personal life was so interesting and so exciting. And then my career was just nothing ever changed. Nothing. So at 35, I walked away.
Okay.
I walked away from all of that.
Did you have a plan at that time, or you just decided no?
No, I'm a very spontaneous person. So I'm one of those people that will think of an idea and it's set in stone. I don't. So when I came up with the idea of starting this, I was getting ready to go to my brother's house with my husband, and I was in front of the mirrors doing my makeup and everything, and I said to him, I think I want to start like a Facebook page for the furniture that I painted for our home. Okay, so you were already painting furniture at that point. This was years. This was when I was going to launch my business, so I'm jumping. Right. But I was like, I think I want to put up a Facebook page for the stuff we do. I'm painting at home, and he was like, she honestly have the time, because I had launched another business at the time, and we had put all of our money and effort into it. And it wasn't doing very well because the market was miserable. The market wasn't right. It was a very high-end luxury product. It wasn't working at all. And he's like, you have the time. You've put everything for the last 4 years or 3.5 years into this. We've put all our savings into it. And, do you have time to do something else.
Just to interrupt you, so when you say you've started something else, was it along with you being a journalist that you started something?
So I'll go back.
Yes.
So,
Right.
right, so I walked away from being a journalist.
Yes.
I had 2 babies.
Okay.
Because I wanted to fulfill that side of my life as well, and it seemed like a perfect moment to do it. So I had my 2 babies consecutively, 2013 and 2014.
Okay.
Bam, bam, they were done. I had the babies, and then I slipped into a dark hole. Pretty much at the start, actually, not even after I had the babies, even prior to that, because I went from being a very active, career-oriented person, you know, where as a journalist, you would know you're on call 24 hours a day.
True.
When I walked away from it all, I was doing investigative reports. And I actually loved doing it, you know. So sort of, I had nothing to do any longer with my time. And then here I am, I'm pregnant. I can't do anything. I tried to freelance, but I wasn't feeling it. Like, I was like, no, but I walked away from this, you know, what am I doing? And then the other part of my mind would say, no, but this is all you know how to do. You can't do anything else. So I was sort of...
So it was a battle, right? The internal turmoil.
I did. I mean, I took on the a magazine for the airport, and then you know, life happens this way. If it's not meant to be, it fizzles off. I didn't even walk away. It actually just fizzled off. And I was doing it part-time anyway because I had a little newborn with me. And so I was not very happy back then. And I couldn't sort of figure out who I was any longer because I was so used to being Muby, the journalist, and everyone knew my name and everyone knew my byline. And then all of a sudden, nobody did.
Yeah, all of a sudden.
I was no one any longer. And it sounds a little bit fickle to say.
No, but then that's what you said.
It wasn't fickle. It wasn't fickle for me. It went deep because, I mean, you've got to understand from the age of 11, I had built myself into being this person who is a journalist. That is all I ever was.
Yes.
So when I took that
all of
away,
a sudden, did it feel like your identity was...
Completely. I didn't know who I was.
Yeah.
You know, and I was lucky because for very, very many years, I've always been into self-reflection and into working on myself. I used to, along with being a journalist, but I was also a life coach for a few years, and I was doing that and counseling people. And I just, one day I hit rock bottom and I just went, stop, you can't, I couldn't go any lower. I couldn't go any lower. And my first boy turned 1. And on the day he turned 1, I was like, that's it. Okay. Pick yourself up, figure this out, or you're gonna be nowhere.
Yeah.
And this desire to resurrect someone that's gone.
Yeah.
That girl is gone. You can't hold on to her any longer. So you need to figure out who's there instead. And this person that's there, why don't you care about her? Why don't you want to get to know who she is and what she can do for you? And so I began this new relationship with myself. Yeah. I was already pregnant with my second son at the time. And it was probably the happiest pregnancy that I ever had because I had this new drive and I had this new passion. And I launched another business at the time, which was connected to writing, but it had nothing to do with the media. I was doing novels for people, laying them out visually. Again, it was luxury, it was high-end, and it didn't work. But I did, you know, we did invest in it, we did go ahead with it. It did give me some sort of identity back. I was coming back. I had a reason to get dressed every morning. I wasn't getting dressed in the morning, you know. I was resentful and angry with my husband because he got to go out and work. And I was just sat there, and I loved my time with my kids. That was the bit I actually truly enjoyed. And that was something that I'd always visualized all my life, that I would do this. So I loved that part of it. But life is about balance, and the entire scale was heavy on one end, and there was nothing
on the other
left
end.
for me, and I needed me. So creating this first business started giving me a sense of me back. But then the business wasn't working. You know,
But even little things like you said, I could just get up in the morning and get dressed because I had some place to go. Those things might seem very trivial to someone else, but it matters. All those things really does.
It does matter, and like that's what I said, that it sounds fickle, but it truly wasn't fickle. Like I'm not someone with, or I like to think I'm not someone that has absolutely no depth of personality. And I have always identified myself with looking and feeling and being a certain way. And I lost that. And it took a really long time to start recreating it all over again. And then during this phase where the first business was fizzling out, but I was giving it everything that I had. And I'd never done a business before. I mean, I don't know what it's like to be a businesswoman. I had no clue. I was making every mistake that you could imagine, and it did work. And one day we moved to a new home, and there I was in this big empty villa, and we didn't really have the budget to make it look the way I wanted it to look, because I started discovering who I was again, and the way I wanted my home to look, I needed it to reflect me. Yes. And it was very important to have my energy in the home, because at that point in my life, my husband was bringing in the money. I wasn't contributing financially at all. My business wasn't working. So that was all of his energy, to running the family. And so I had to contribute something. And so I said, you know what? We have the money to do one room from start to finish. If I go to a beautiful shop and I buy all of this stuff, but I could use that money and do the entire villa if I just figure it out. How do I do this myself?
Okay.
Okay. So I picked up a brush and I bought a can of paint.
Okay.
And I painted that.
That's your first ever
piece. That was my first piece. This little blue table.
Right.
I painted that, and I messed it up about 4 or 5 times because I didn't have my paints back then. They hadn't even launched at the time worldwide. So I picked up whatever I could find, and traditional paint requires you to shake it and stir it, and it's lumpy at the bottom, and I had no idea. It never occurred to me to go onto YouTube and watch a tutorial. Never thought of doing that. Okay. And
did it occur to you that the paint that I'm buying, is it environmentally friendly? Is it cruelty? Did all those thoughts run in your mind at that time?
There was nothing in the market. The market had this huge gap. There was nothing available that ticked all of my boxes. It ticked a little box here and there. And then, I would look for one product from one end of Dubai that would tick one box, and then run to the other end of Dubai and desperately search, and I wouldn't find stuff. So then I was ordering things online and having them shipped over here, and they cost a lot of money to do, but still cheaper than going into a high-end furniture store and buying new stuff. And then a can of paint and does last for a few pieces, plus the tools are not, they would last me. So it was an investment of that.
So then you went from one end of Dubai to other end of Dubai, and you just couldn't find anything.
I couldn't get the stuff that I wanted. I was sort of just getting desperate because I couldn't do it. Like, I remember that I bought some brushes locally from a very popular brand, right? And this is how naive I was about stuff like this. And, I was told, oh, this is the best brush and it's fabulous. So I bought it, and it's pure bristle. That's great for painting. And I thought, oh, fab. I honestly had no idea that pure bristle meant the hair of an animal that's now dead. I didn't know that. And I was just like, oh my God, So I got rid of them. And then it began the search for things that are, educating myself. What does it mean to truly be cruelty-free, to truly be environmentally friendly? Does it just tick the box if the paint says that there's no odor in it? But what is the base? What is it made of? Like, what are its molecular compounds? Is it acrylic? Acrylic originates with plastic.
Right.
What does this poly that I'm using to
Right.
seal my furniture with, oh my God, it's melted plastic. The worst of it, you know. So I was sort of like in shock, going, oh my God. And I wasn't aware that the stuff that I was using was this. So began the hunt
Yes.
all over the world, trying to find products. And I was convinced that there has got to be other companies around the world that have the same belief systems that I do. And so I started looking, I started finding the products that matched what I wanted from them. So I started to you know, to use those products. I redid my entire villa. So eventually it was a beautiful house at the end of it. That piece that I messed up, like I said, 4 or 5 times because I didn't even know I had to stir the paint. So the first time I painted this table, it was supposed to be a little darker version of the blue that you see on top.
Right. Yes.
And it was a bright green because I only used the oil on the top of the can. I didn't even know I had
even go around and stir it properly.
Right, and then I just thought, there's got to be an easier way. Like, not every, you know.
Yeah.
I didn't know this stuff.
True.
I knew
Everyone is
nothing
going
about
to.
it.
Yeah.
Which means there's a ton of other people out there that are not going to know this, that are going to be messing up their furniture.
Right.
And it hurts if it's something like, if you've got a piece passed on from your parents and your grandparents, you don't want to mess that stuff up, you know? So eventually one day, Chic.
Okay.
And I love the fact that it states on its tagline that it's an environmentally friendly chalk and mineral paint.
Right.
It is one of the only brands of paint that actually lists its ingredients on the tin. Everything connected to the brand, everything is recycled. Okay. Even the packing pellets, the little foam thingies,
right.
Those are biodegradable and recycled. There is nothing that I would never put something in a plastic bag and give it to someone, you know. I reuse my boxes over and over again, and people are well aware that it's not just a product that needs to be environmentally friendly. It's a lifestyle choice. It's a lifestyle choice. You have to live it, breathe it.
True.
Otherwise, you just don't even bother. And just use it because it's an easy to use paint.
Exactly.
Because this is actually a paint that you don't have to do this. You don't have to do this.
All right.
And it doesn't have none of it. I ordered the paint online. I ordered everything that I needed online. I did my home, and it was beautiful, and I was in love with my home, and I gained so much confidence. You know, it was as I was painting, I was expressing other parts of me that never existed. You know, Muby, the painter, the artist, was not something that I knew I had in me. I was the girl who wasn't allowed to take art in high school because my teachers would say, you can't draw, you can't do art to save your life. And I just went, I believed it.
I know.
I believed it. You believe what people tell you about yourself. Yes. And if you don't have a very strong belief system about who you are, you accept other people's belief systems about yourself.
Yes.
So that's what I did. I always thought that the one thing I can't do is paint. You know, there's no way, and I have no idea how I had the courage to actually keep going with that, despite messing up. I was giggling and I was laughing. I was saying to my husband, I'm like, oh baby, do you know what? Because at first I was like, the can says it's blue.
It's not.
It's green. It's green. And when I done halfway through the can and I was doing the top coats, I was like, now it's blue. What's going on? And I was like, oh, this company's not very good with their colors. They don't know what
colors they're talking about.
Okay. So the house was beautiful, and people started noticing it. It started with friends, and they would, a lot of friends would come home. My son's friends would be home constantly. Our house is an extended playground at the best of times. So my boys' friends and their mums were coming home, and the mums were, I love the mums, they were my friends as well, because I had no friends any longer. I thank God for my little boys. Because of them, I actually got new friends, who I would never have taken the time to get to know because they were so different. I didn't identify myself as a mom. I was almost offended, because when you said you're a mom, I was not hearing you're a mom as an amazing thing. I was hearing it as you're just a mom.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but I'm more. I'm a mom and I'm still me, and I was fighting for that me to come out, you know, because the mom was there and the whole world could see her, and you know, I'm happy to say, and I'm not showing off, that I'm a fabulous mom, you know, I'm a playful mom. I'm the mom that's rolling in mud with my boys. Aww. And I'm the mom that never says no, not because I spoil them, but because I give them freedom of choice. I need them. From my own experience, I've learned that I need them to understand from day one who they are, because the world will knock you down. Yeah. It's my job to fill you with so much confidence. So I was this good mom, but I wasn't me. And suddenly, I had, thanks to them, I had friends. I had
different
things.
Lives,
I had things to do. Yeah. I was attending play dates, which sounds like such an obvious little thing. It's a nothing. And to me, it was everything, because it was socializing. It was human interaction. And I craved human interaction. So it was human interaction. And then they were all coming home and looking at stuff I painted. And, you know, I didn't have a single friend that wasn't coming and taking photos of my living room or my bedroom or, you know, whatever. And it went from there to them then saying, could you help me, and could you do stuff for my home? And I was like, yes, of course I would, you know. So I started to paint stuff for my friends as well. And then word would spread as it does. And then other people were approaching me and asking me to paint furniture for them. And then so I said, okay, I'm going to start charging, because it's very expensive for me to constantly order all of this stuff from all over the world. It wasn't just from the UK or from the US. Or right now, there's the UK, there's the US. I've got Holland, I've got Germany, I've got Ireland. There's a lot of countries that I'm bringing the stuff in from. You know? So it was too expensive. I started charging people to paint that furniture for them. And then when I started to do that, you know, then people I realized that it is so expensive. Like, my time is worth a lot of their money. So I'm gonna charge you, 2,000 dirhams to do your dining table set. Because I'm put in a week of work.
So many hours of
and
work.
Even then, I was sort of undercutting myself, but I couldn't make myself charge them more than that for what I do, you know. And so I had that guilt in me that, like, oh my God, you know, they have to pay so much for me to do this, and yet I don't feel like I'm being honest to myself by charging just that, and it was clashing for me. And as it happens, when you have a self-realization, in my life, it's always been this way. The minute I have this thought in my head, everything around me shifts immediately. So straight away, I started, because I thought it, then I started getting people to asking me, well, can you teach me how to do this?
Oh, okay.
So it's like, great.
Sure, yeah, why not?
You know, so I started teaching workshops, teaching people how to do it privately. Like, I wasn't doing it officially. And then I got a call from the largest brand of a similar kind of painting in the country at the time, asking if I wanted to represent them and to be a stockist artist with their brand. And so that got me thinking, honestly. And it was a really tempting offer, because I hadn't thought of actually turning it into a full-fledged business. Yeah. I was just happy that I got something that I can do with my life. But it got the wheels in motion. I started to think about it. I walked away from that deal purely because it was too restrictive for me.
And as an artist and as a creative person,
artist, I can't be restricted. Like, I need to fly. Like, I need to, I just found my wings. Do not clip them so quickly.
Yes.
I just found freedom through expression.
Yeah.
And I could not let anyone take it away, no matter how tempting a business idea. That was off the table for me. So I walked away from that, and I was just doing what I was doing. And people said to me, well, where can I get the stuff you use? And I was like, online. I would give them the websites
Right.
where to buy it from, and it was really expensive. Obviously, people are not going to put that kind of money into doing it. And so I said to myself, you know what, I'm going to do it. I'm going to bring it here. But what's the worst that can happen, you know? So it was one of those, I thought of it one night over dinner, and after dinner, my husband went to bed. I sat down and I was sort of like a little girl in a candy shop, honest to God. I just had a list of all the brands that I'm in love with, and I sent them all emails. I had thought of a name overnight as well when Shabby meets Chic, which
Really?
is poof, like this.
Okay.
All right, so I thought of my name. I had nothing. I had no logo. I had no company set up. I had nothing. But I just sent them an email going, "Hi, I'm Muby Astruc. This is what I want to do. I want to bring your brand to Dubai. I love your paint. I want to be able to represent it here." And 95% of them wrote back to me going, "Yeah, we'd love for it to happen." It just fell into place.
Yes.
Everything fell into place. And then I was sort of like going, "Oh wow, I can pick whatever I want." And the moment was right. The moment was right. I was in the right place at the right time, because I know that everything else I was doing in the earlier years, it wasn't falling into place, and it was all off. And suddenly this was my hour, and it was working out. So I had all these brands that say yes to me, and I was like, right, now I need to open up a company officially. And we did a lot of research. I was like, well, you know, a trade license is really the only way to go, because I wanted to go e-commerce from day one. Retail is dying. Brick and mortar is fighting for survival, and I wasn't going to join a race that was fading off. And the future is e-commerce.
Okay.
So I was very clear that I wanted to go down that route. But I wanted a trade license because I wanted the option of someday, I have a dream. So I have a dream in my head, and someday that's going to come about. So I need a trade license for this. The dream is community based. It's about growing a community. And so a business perspective, obviously, because as an individual, there's nothing I can really do. But as a business, I have the legal rights to do certain things. So I really want to. I can only grow if my community of artisans grows. Without them, I'm no one. You know.
So when you say community of artisans, who does that represent?
This is such a new concept to this part of the world. Furniture makeovers, DIY, women taking control of things that is so traditionally a man's world, you know, painting massive pieces of furniture. It's also brand new. And I was just like, you know what? There's a lot of other women out there, gaps in their life, little holes, and art is a very beautiful way to bridge those gaps. It's a lovely way to start rediscovering parts of yourself. And so this is what I wanted to offer to the community. And if you look at my website, whenshabbymeetchic.com, and you go to the About section, and you go to the About Muby Astruc part of that, I say it over there, like, let me help you. Like, I give you my hands and take it, take it. And I want people to understand that you're actually not alone. It feels horrible where you are, because you may be a new mom struggling with what I did, no career any longer. You may be an empty nester whose kids have gone away, and suddenly you're left with nothing. I've got women that have, been recently divorced or are going through a separation, and there's this gap again in their life. Women that are fighting terminal illnesses, and they need hope. Yeah. They need, and art ignites passion, and passion makes you feel alive again. So there's so many women like all of us in this city and in this country. I'm not even going beyond the UAE right now. There's so many who have never thought that they could get out of this black hole. Who wouldn't know that painting could, because painting is just painting. You think it's a very silly thing. Pick up a brush and paint a piece of furniture and you're going to feel good about yourself, but it's not though. It's a process. So we'll sit together and we'll paint together, and I teach them through my workshops. And I'm so careful. I do so many one-on-one workshops for this reason. It's like, use me, hold on to me, because I'm so much a reflection of where you are right now, and I've been there. I know what it feels like, but I also know how liberating it feels when you get that first glimpse of something that you've accomplished. And the ladies that have done my workshops, you see it on their face, you see the smile on their face. They walk in and they're not sure. They're like, look, I don't know, I've never done all of this before. And I'm like, don't worry. I tell them, look, even during the workshop, I'm going to mess up. Yeah. But messing up is the fun part. Yes. Messing up is the best part, because when you mess up, you figure a way out. And I always teach them, because this is a reflection of life as well, I teach them that if you've made a mistake in the way you've used the product or the way you've done a technique, do not hide that mistake. Don't try to cover it up with more and more layers of stuff. Highlight it. Wear the scars with pride. So be true to it. You've got a dent, you've got a splash, you've got whatever's gone wrong. Don't hide it. Highlight it. Add wax to it. Make it stand out. Make it the focal point that this is something that was magnificent and classic, and it's been damaged, and life has broken it down.
It's like our stretch marks, isn't it?
Life has broken it down, and yet here she stands proud. She's wearing her scars, and her scars are a part of her beauty. It's the most. So a lot of my pieces, if you look around, they have damages on them, and it's a it's a reflection of. We don't need to hide. It doesn't have to be perfect. We are entitled to second chances. We're all entitled to doing it all over again. And no need to hide where you've been. No need to hide the darkness, because honest to God, there's no one in the world that hasn't gone through it. Everyone's had those days. A lot of people don't talk about it because it hurts to talk about. There's no reason to hide it. We're all in this life together. We're experiencing identical things in different places and different times and in different ways, but we all have the basic desire to want to be loved and to cry when we don't feel loved, and this is really the heart of everything, right? So I teach this in the workshops, to highlight your scars. Don't hide any of it. I've completely lost track of what I was saying because I got all emotional.
No, that's fine. You've got me all emotional, but the highlight of your entire change, and Shabby means chic, is also these workshops that you do, more than just probably the e-commerce. Do you feel that at times?
Look, for me, this is where I stopped actually before I went off on my tangent. I started my life with this new life, which I recreated for myself as I turned 40. I was 39, turning 40, and I just went, okay, new you. So at 40, I changed career, honestly. Took 5 years to get from point A to point B.
Yeah.
But turning 40, a new Muby came, a new Muby Astruc was born, and she had compassion that she didn't have before, because there was so much confidence before. Right. But now the confidence stemmed out of compassion and understanding a lot more. So, as I was saying, I had all these brands that were really happy for me to represent them based on an email and iPhone photos that I sent them of the pieces I've created. Yes. At that time, I'd also had a little bit of media coverage. A few websites and people were writing about my home as a home makeover. And so it was word of mouth. It was gaining popularity. So I thought, right, I need to do my trade license now. I need to get a business started. I was talking to my dad. I was like, you know what, I'm going to do this. And they're very used to me coming up with an idea overnight. And jumping into it, no restrictions. So I was like, so I've decided to do this, and now I need to figure out a trade license. So just having my normal conversation with them. And he was like, well, what about mine? Because my dad has a business. Okay. And he's got a trade license. And I was like, yeah, but because in my head, my dad's business is very technical. And he deals with machinery and pipelines and blah, 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 blah. I was like, no. no, I don't, and maybe you don't understand what I'm doing. And, you know, he was like, no, I have a trade license with a specialization in building materials and products. And so we went to Didi, we found out what I needed, and that was actually the license that I needed.
Wow.
So I was like,
you said,
fab, can you,
falls in place.
so my dad just added me, and you know, the bank account, everything was just set up. It fell into my lap. I didn't have to do a thing. You know, from the time I started painting my furniture to people saying, all right, now paint it for me, now teach me how to paint it, now sell the products that you use. As people suggested, I was just, yeah, okay, why not? And going along with it. And then the business happened and the trade license was done within a week, because it was my dad that really, God bless, you know, that he facilitated it for me. So I was like, fabulous, you know, I don't really need to pull out again from my life savings like I'd done, because that was a big mistake we did the first time. With 2 little babies to look after, we took out everything we had, my entire gratuity, all of our savings, and we put it into the first business. And, you know, we were not thinking like business people at the time, especially I wasn't. So I had already decided that this time around it's going to grow organically. Like everything in my life is happening organically. I'm not pushing for anything. I'm allowing life to happen to me. And then I make a choice. Do I want to permit that life in, or do I want to open another door? But thus far, I wanted to permit everything that was coming my way. So the business had to grow the same way. It had to grow organically. And so because I was already like testing the waters, and I had done a few things, that I had money that I'd, you know, made from my own work, which I then used to make my first purchase orders. And I, you know, so my first purchase orders was small. I had less than 50,000 dirhams that I had saved over a year. But for me, you know, it was 50,000 dirhams of hard work, which I hadn't done in 5 years. And it was a year's work for me to say, I've got this, I can place my first order now. So I placed my first order, which was Chic. And I got some stuff in. I did it all on my own, because I had used all of my money to get the stuff in here. So there was no money for a website builder or someone that would do my PR or my marketing, and I had no idea about tech. So I learned how to build a website. And I've got a best friend who he's an angel. He helped me each time I was stuck. I'd call him up and I'd be like, Vikram, help, I don't know what to do, and this is his world. He knows this very well. He doesn't live in Dubai. So it was always over the phone, over email, and he'd be like, send it to me like I was 5 years old. Okay, this is it, you need to do this, you need to do that. And then he would always give me challenges like, now you need to figure this out, because I am not building this for you. You're not going to achieve anything if I do this for you. So I'm going to help you. I'm going to show you what tools you can use, but you need to use those tools yourself. So that's how we did it. And then I had this e-commerce website all of a sudden, and it took me 3 months to do it, to build it. But I was so proud that I built a website, and I started working on my own SEO, because I can't afford to have it done for me. And then I was live. I was live by August 2007 with the e-commerce website. And things just went on from there.
Oh, that's amazing.
A large part of when Shabby meets Chic and me, the person behind the brand, is about building a community of furniture artisans for the UAE. There are these communities that exist in other countries and in other parts of the world, and it's so new here that I wanted to begin this movement of having a lot of us. So one of the ways that I could achieve that was I started an online forum on Facebook called the UAE Furniture Artisans Forum. That is not affiliated to When Shabby Meets Chic.
Oh, okay.
or to my Facebook business page or to my website or to any of it. It's something that I do as an artist for other artists, and it's 100% a learning forum. So I've got over 1,000 something women, a few men, but honestly it's women. But I do have a couple hundred men perhaps on it. Oh, I'm so happy when a man sends in a request, and I'm very careful who I select, by the way. So I have my questions, and if you haven't answered all 3 questions, I'm sorry, I'm not going to put you in, because there's a group of us now, and we're sharing. It goes beyond furniture, and it goes beyond a paintbrush and a box of paint and a stencil. It goes beyond your products, right? It's you. Now it's you, the artist, that is expressing herself or himself on this forum. And I am very protective, very, very protective. So I wouldn't let just anybody into the forum. So when there is a man and he qualifies, you know, I'm always like, yes, there's a guy. You know, if I have a client who's a man, I'm like, because I want men to come into this world as well. It's dominated by women, which is great. But I want men to be able to see that, you know, beauty is something to be acknowledged. Kindness is something to be acknowledged, you know, and the entire world is aware today about how much we need to help out with planet Earth, with environment. You know,
the shift is happening.
The country is turning, the world is turning vegan, is trying to cut back. I mean, there is a massive shift, you know, and I'm seeing the men gradually coming in as well. So I'm very excited. So anyway, so a large part of building this community of artisans goes through my forum. And on the forum, I give tons and tons of free advice. I do lots of tutorials. When I'm painting a piece of furniture myself, I'll do lots of live videos. I'll give mini workshops for free. There's a difference between a paid workshop that I teach to somebody, which is, I would say, less about technique than it is about an experience. Right? Because it's experiencing something together and creating a beautiful piece of art out of that. On the forum, I teach a lot of technique. I do not believe art should be a secret. Art is something that should be shared freely. And knowledge should never be guarded to yourself. Through my forum, I constantly share. Art has to be shared. The only way to grow this community is to build it from ground up. So this is what I do, and now we're 1,000, few hundred people on the forum, and it grows, and they're amazing artists. I mean, a lot of them have started from, I have this and I don't know what to do, to creating such amazing pieces, and to going on and just redoing their entire homes and their lives and building themselves up, you know, along the way. The only rule on my forum is, if you're going to post a picture of something, you need to give us a tutorial. A pretty picture is just that. I need to see what's behind it. You're on this because you are learning, and you're at a certain level. And even if this was your first piece that you've painted, and people go, "What? This is just 2 coats of paint and I'm done. I've never done anything spectacular, so do I need to put a tutorial?" Yes, you need to put a tutorial, because someone else is on the forum that is even not is hesitant, and they haven't yet taken that first step.
Brush, probably.
So every step of the journey matters. So we're all in this together to learn from one another, to teach one another. It is not brand restrictive. People are free to talk about any brand that they use. I use Chic, so I talk about Chic. Someone uses whatever they want to use, and they're more than welcome to discuss it. It's there's no limits as an artist. An artist cannot have lines drawn around him, and an artist has to be free. And as I was saying to you earlier, when you introduced me and you said Muby calls herself an artist entrepreneur, and I wanted to add to that the only reason that today I'm an entrepreneur is because I'm an artist.
Oh, that's amazing. And that was something which you never thought would happen. The 11-year-old Muby, the journalist, would have never thought that she would be an artist entrepreneur.
No, I mean, but this is so many of us.
Yeah.
We have so much in us.
True.
Sometimes life dictates who we become, but a lot of the time we dictate.
Yeah.
We tell ourselves stories about ourselves, and then we believe those stories. And we're fragile, so we get hurt, you know, and sometimes all we need is someone else saying, you know what, I'm here, I'm listening, I have the key to a door. If you want to open it and you want to go inside, and if that room makes you feel better, it's yours.
Be there, right? Oh, that's amazing. And on that note, I think that's the best note for us to wind up our great conversation here today. Thank you so much, Muby. It was an amazing talk. And
I love talking to you.
Totally inspiring, because most times women, men for that matter, let's say when they have a job and when they think they're settled, and that's it. They don't think outside the box. They don't think ever that they have to make that decision or satisfy that inner call, the inner voice in their head. I'm telling you, maybe this % of people would do that at age 40.
But it's also because I am blessed. I've got this husband who thinks heaven lies under my feet. You know, according to, even at my lowest and at my worst, he sees me as someone amazing, which I can't see myself as this person, but he can. So he's always had faith in me, too much faith. So when I mess up, it's because, you know, like sometimes he has so much faith in me that I think I can do no wrong, but actually I am messing up. He's given me like free rein to grow my personality in the direction that I want to grow it in, with, you know, unconditional support. That if tomorrow you want to give this all up and you want to go and be a skydiving instructor, I'm there going, yes, go, you know. And this is what we teach our little boys, you know, Alex and Tristan, that it's okay to change your mind. It's okay to evolve, because you're not being untrue to a past version of yourself. Who you were is who you will always continue to carry forward, but you have to evolve and you have to grow, you know. So never be afraid to say, you know what, this doesn't feel like me any longer. I'm going to reinvent myself. I'm going to redo a piece. I'm going to, you know, a new me, a new life, a new tomorrow, a new chance, a second
canvas all the time, right? It's all about second chances, which I believe in too, all the time. Thank you so much, Muby. It was a pleasure being with you.
Absolutely.
And thank you so much for being part of Women of Arabia.
Thank you. I really enjoyed it. I've loved talking to you. And
and do find her on When Shabby Meets Chic, especially on your Facebook page also.
Well, whenshabbymeetschic.com, that's the website. And then I do have a Facebook page also called When Shabby Meets Chic, and come and join the forum. The UAE Furniture Artisans Forum, because you'll get to see a lot of me. I'll do a lot of lives. I'll be chatting around. This will be anyone who's on my forum, this is the first time they've seen me dressed up. I am so involved in what I'm painting and doing a live. I've gone on the forum doing live videos in my pajamas. Never have I had any lipstick on me. My hair's, I am who I am. That's me.
That's you. So that's amazing.
Accept
her there on her forums and on her Facebook page. Thank you so much.
Thank you.